Okay, there we go. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Courtney, and I'm the director with McHenry County Workforce Network up in McHenry County and its local workforce area 2. So thank you for joining us about our business engagement certification. And Pat, you want to go to the next slide? So as we're moving on to our PowerPoint presentation, I just want to give a little background about who we are and how this program actually came into being. As you can see from the slide, we represent the 10 counties in Northeast Illinois. So we're local EDR 4, and we're comprised of Cook, DeKalb, DuPage, Grundy, Kane, Kankakee, Kendall, Lake, McHenry, and Will. So that is a very large workforce area in EDR. And we have these 7 workforce areas that are part of this region. We have 69% of the population in Illinois, and the employment base is about 74%, and the number of employers is about 68%. So you can see that our region is very large, and we have been working together for a long time, roughly about 20 years, to come up with regional solutions and work together to help make that region stronger, just based on the size of our population. Some of the examples that I can give you on the impact that we've had, because of our region, we've worked together to develop a region-wide incumbent worker policy. So as we're working with employers that may have multiple locations within the region, we've been able to work with them. Instead of them having to go to each local workforce area to do their incumbent worker projects, we do that as a regional project. So the employer can go to their one local workforce area, and then we work together to make those types of programs happen. A good example is that we did recently for all the Ford dealers within the local workforce areas, we did incumbent worker training for the technicians. So I believe we had roughly about 25 technicians within the region that we did a regional incumbent worker project on. So that's an example of how we've been working together. The other impact our region has is by working together, we've been able to expand the talent pool for our employers. So once one local area might need an employer, we've been able to reach out to the entire region and expand that talent pool for those employers so we can help meet the needs of those employers. It's also, we've done joint rapid response activities. So as many of you know, when an employer lays off in one place, their workers may be impacted from other counties. So we've been working together as a region to do those rapid response events. We've also coordinated and participated in regional job fairs. And then there's certainly collaboration amongst the local areas to serve employers by doing joint recruitment events and outreach. And of course, the biggest impact is the networking ability. So our business service folks have been working together to network amongst each other to make sure that all the employers in our region have what they need as far as talent development and access to the workforce funds. Next slide, please. And as you can see, we basically call ourselves the Workforce Partners of Metropolitan Chicago. And as I alluded to earlier, we have been working together as region to come up with regional solutions to workforce problems for over 20 years. And you can see the leadership team from Cook County, DuPage, Grundy, Kane, Kendall, DeKalb, Lake, McHenry, and Will. So we comprise of the 7 workforce areas in that region. And during the regional process, like I said, I want to give you a little background about how this program got started. During the regional planning process, we really identified a strategic need to do business service activities as a region. So we decided that it's very important for us to take a regional approach to making sure that we're talking to the employers in the area instead of doing everything individually, that we're doing it as a region. So we can, you know, as people know that folks don't come from one local workforce area and only stay in one local workforce area, they travel through different areas to go to work. And employers really don't care where what region their employees are coming from. They are just happy to have the skilled, talented workforce. So once we decided in the planning process to develop that regional workforce team, we started taking partners and staff from each local workforce area that their goal was to work with the local businesses, and created that regional team. And they started meeting together as a group in 2019. So we originally started with just the Title I workforce business services staff. And then once they got together, then we expanded it to add our core partners. So that's where you're getting this presentation from, is because this really expanded to include all of the partners that were working with the businesses to make sure everybody was on the same page. And once they met together, they identified, excuse me, the strengths of the region, but also the gaps. And one of the gaps that we'll be discussing today was, how do we talk to the employers in a common language? Our partners from the Illinois Department of Employment Security had their way of dealing with the employers. The folks from Department of Human Services, DHS, had theirs. And then the Title I folks were dealing with employers in their own language. So this program basically helped those folks lay the foundation so that everybody who is out in our region talking to employers was talking with the same language. So out of that, this is where the Business U program came into play. And we were able to make that available to all of the partners within the region. And we had roughly 39 people start the program. And next slide, please. And I'm happy to say that we have 4 individuals that actually participated in that Business U program with us today to talk more about the impact it had on them and how the training worked for them, and how it has helped develop our region to be stronger based on that partnership. So first we have Kathleen Brannigan. She is with Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, and she's had over 16 years in workforce development and has been with the Workforce Partnership for 8 years now. Next, we have Patrick Hall, who is the Employer Relations Coordinator at Joliet Junior College, and he's been with them for 3 years. Then we have Sarah Hintz. She is the manager with the Workforce Skills and Morris Education Center, and has been with Joliet Junior College Grundy Workforce Services for the last 10 years. And last, we have Dr. Dana Washington. She is the director of the Workforce Services at Kankakee Community College and has 18 years of experience in the workforce system here. So I'd like to turn it over to Patrick so he can explain a little bit more about the business service team. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Patrick, and I am a proud member of the Regional Business Services team, which is comprised of members across the state sharing best practices, identifying regional approaches, and addressing the needs of regional businesses. Team members consist of WIOA Title I business service reps, DRS business services team, IDS service reps, and then other local members like myself who works for a community college. We have an active dialogue and meet regularly. And then another component, like Julie mentioned, is the chance to partake in professional development opportunities. And this gives us the chance to incorporate new strategies and techniques, speak the same language to businesses, and serve businesses and counties appropriately and effectively. So go ahead and advance. The recent business professional development opportunity offered to us was the Certified Business Engagement Professional, or CBEP, CBEP. The training is conducted by Business U, and they've been conducting training since 2014 and have trained more than 5,000 individuals in accredited courses and trainings. It's facilitated by the founder and CEO, Christine Bosworth. She was very engaging and present throughout the course, which I appreciated. And I say course because in a lot of ways, this training is structured and framed similarly to like a college course. There's assignments and projects associated each week to help you grasp the material. And it's 8 weeks long, so you really get a deep dive into some of these concepts, techniques, and strategies. I think one of the key focus points is the importance of applying both transactional and transformational approaches to business. And knowing the difference can help you strategically align your engagement efforts while maximizing your outcomes. We learned quite a bit during the training, and speaking personally, it has really helped me refine my approach with businesses. So I'm appreciative for the opportunity. That's about it for me. So I'm going to pass it on to Kathleen.
Great. Good morning, everybody. I'm super excited to be here with you all today in our Northeast region. And as Patrick said, we have the great opportunity to be exposed, to have the opportunity to attend this educational professional development opportunity. It was a blended classroom experience. Business U, working with them was exceptional. And it really, some quick takeaways from it. You know, it's definitely going to improve your individual and collaborative business practice when you're working as a business, in my case, a business relations specialist. So, and the information that you'll engage with is very practical and adaptable. So you'll be able to apply it to your work and how you work with businesses and partners right away. It's definitely, I was able to do it with my business relations team. I work in the partnerships business relation economic development unit. There are 6 of us, and we're led by our director, Phaedra Leslie, in Cook County, and we all work together as a team going through the curriculum. And it's definitely going to elevate your business service team work. And ultimately going to help and serve the mission of placing job seekers with employers. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was a win-win. As Julie and Patrick said, we collaborated with our other members from the economic development region here in Illinois. And it really allowed me, again, to up my game. We were really all impressed with Business U. They were super energetic and awesome. Overall, the course ran about the 8 weeks. There were 2 to 3 hours of work per week, plus the 1-hour class. So it was a very highly interactive classroom environment. It involved interaction with, you know, the Business U facilitator, Selena and Christine, and there was homework involved. So it was great. It was done in that cohort model, which is great, and it keeps you accountable. You can also work with your team members on different projects. So each week, the class curriculum built on another. So it was all incorporated in a very structured format. And I think that that's what's really unique about the training, is that it builds on the idea of business engagement, really taking business services where, you know, we've gone out and we've reiterated about the WIOA business tools, but really putting it into a business engagement model, really understanding, you know, how to communicate with business and meet them where they are. Next slide, please. These are some of the key learning outcomes, and there's so much more. But as I said, the week compiled on each week, and it really is all information to help you structure business engagement. And you do that through what they call a business engagement action plan. And, you know, understanding the different formats of business engagement, putting together demand-driven strategies that will help you put together that outreach plan to work with businesses. where you really understand, like Patrick had mentioned, that transformational versus transactional business relationship and how they can really lead to a long-term productive partnership with that business. Understanding the difference between supply and demand, and really putting, what they emphasized was putting on your business lens. It's your demand lens, really understanding business needs and meeting them where they are, and then being able to incorporate, really understanding what their need is and incorporate some of those great tools we have under the WIOA business service, from the WIOA business service toolbox. So it helped us to understand the difference between delivering business services and implementing the business services in those engagement strategies. And there is a difference with that. So it's kind of, instead of talking about it, you're really showing them. And you're showing them through the different experiences that you have in working with businesses where you've delivered and engaged with the business in those tools, some of those work-based learning tools such as on-the-job training, customized training, and incumbent worker training. And one of the things that they really emphasized was really understanding the workforce product, what that product is that we're essentially selling, but they put it into a language that you can really understand and, really impress upon you to be able to understand the difference between the program feature and its benefit. And, understanding how to, by listening to that business and what their need is, what their HR need is, what their workforce need is, to be able to put together that value proposition that is really going to, help them really understand that, hey, this can really help me in my business, really support my business. And it's bringing that, solution. It helped me anyway, to bring that solution to the table, to understand that business need by putting that business lens on. So in each week's class curriculum, as well as the homework that you had to do, it built on each week so that you're, once you get back into class, you're articulating and discussing, these various topics that all lead to help you put together that business, that BEAT plan, business engagement action plan. They were challenging, it was challenging at times, interacting with your team members, online with them, but not in a way that you wanted to step back. You definitely wanted to engage. And if you weren't hitting it right, they're going to help lead you that way. So that's what was really unique about it. You'll be able to develop various innovative demand-driven elevator speeches and talking tracks, to the specific audiences that you're working with, which is really important. You will move into that just kind of cursory general discussion with an employer, to be able to really listen and understand, what that obstacle is, or what they're talking about, that pain point, and in the back of your mind, understanding how you can present a solution, to whatever that workforce issue is. So that was really good, and it was great. And the discussion continued, with my own work unit, in terms of, hearing how they would approach it. There was a lot of work behind the scenes, in that homework space that, was engaging and added to the class experience as well. So it's really, going to help you improve your reach, how you outreach, and definitely your visibility, as you work within your specific sector. If you do that, or all sectors, and really understanding, your workforce partners, and how best to work with those businesses. What I really liked is that it's a structured format, and I'm continually using and pulling out this information all the time, to help me understand how best to, to work with a business and understand, how the WIOA business service tools, can really help them. So I'm going to hand it off to the next presenter, and that's Dr. Dana Washington. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Good morning to everyone. My name is Dana Washington, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about our training evaluation survey and some of the aspects that was really important to me. And one thing I like to say before we get started is that the evaluation training that was conducted, we got really, really good reviews. About 82% of the participants indicated that the training was valuable to them and to their organization. And about 81% recommended the training for others, their staff or someone within their organization. But some of the aspects of the training that stood out to me that I identified with was the value proposition, monetizing service, and then the rewriting of outreach material. And I'm going to show you a little bit how it actually worked with us. And whether you are large as Chicago or small as Kankakee, you can still do it. Because I'm a one-man show here in Kankakee, and I work with all of my partners that were mentioned earlier, IDES, DHS, to help me. And IDES, which is the unemployment office, who knows more of the individuals that has been dislocated from jobs that we can help our business customers with. So one thing I like to talk about is the value proposition, the benefits versus the features. A lot of times when we talk to our business customers, we'll talk about, we'll tell them about our program. For instance, our apprenticeship program help us recruit and develop a high-skilled workforce. That sounds so wonderful. However, that is just, is not a benefit to our customer. We're just telling them about our service. It's just a feature. But if we were to rewrite that, and that's why we go in and we rewrite our outreach material and show value to the business customer, how about we'll say something like the apprenticeship program improves productivity and reduces turnover costs and increase employee retention. Now that's a benefit to our customers, and we want to let them know that how we can help them when it comes to their business, or how we can work together. I'll say that. Something else, for example, letting them know for every dollar spent in that apprenticeship, employees get maybe $1.47 back in increased productivity. Something that the customer, our business customers know that actually benefit them. Monetizing services. That was very important to us because at the WIOA office, or Workforce Innovative Opportunity Act, or the Workforce Office, we have so many names. We talk about all of the services are free. It's no charge to the customer, no charge to the business customer. If we were actually to monetize that, I actually had to do that this week with one of my HVAC business customers. We were talking about getting some of the students, excuse me, from the college to come in and do some OJT, on the job training, or internships. So when I went in to talk to them, I talked to them about employee reimbursement, that even I may come out and help them, but it is a cost, but it's free to them. Maybe $5,000 per person. Telling the business customer that we'll come in with the on-the-job training and we'll pay the feature up to 50% of the individual's salary. For instance, if that person is making $20 an hour, we'll pay $10 of that so that the business customer can use the money for other avenues, or redirect it somewhere else. I like to use a lot of that because it really make them look, and it kind of changed the direction of even like a fresh lens. Oh, so we can get some money, and then which means I can hire someone else. And that person may be eligible to go to the OJT program as well. Also, we collaborate a lot. Collaboration is the workforce. I mean, that's our #1 goal. We here in Kankakee in Will County, which Will County is definitely our partners, we collaborated about Amazon. Amazon was coming here to Moni, which is directly in between Kankakee and Will County. It's in Will County, but it's so close to Kankakee that we can share them. We collaborated with the unemployment office, which is IDES, also with DHS, individuals who receive food stamps. Will County and Kankakee County. Amazon needed over 4,000 individuals that they were trying to hire, and they needed room, they needed an interviewing space, a testing space, and we all actually came together. And not only that, they also needed the individuals to that they wanted to hire. So I started working with IDES, finding all those individuals that were unemployed, underemployed, and we started with that recruitment to show them how we can help them with that. It's no charge to them to come into our building. However, any other time it may have cost, if they went and rented a building, maybe $5,000, just talking that through with them, letting Amazon know that this is a benefit to your company and we can help you with the recruiting. Is we can reduce, maybe help with the productivity. Our recruitment services help to identify job seekers using inventory assessment, things that'll help, that'll benefit that particular company. And they really jumped on that. So once Amazon jumped on that, then right here in Kankakee County, we had a Myers. So they heard about us at Amazon. So then they came and we talked to them. Myers came in and we did the same thing with our IDES individuals, DHS, and as well as myself and another agency that we had, even with our adult ed. I like to focus a lot on those things because that is really a benefit to the company, the customers, the business customers, and that's what we want them to know. We try to focus on that demand part of the service. Kathleen mentioned a little earlier about elevator speeches, or either I'll say pitches to the customer. And I just want to give an example. When you hear like search, you on the internet, you search, the first thing you may think about is Google. If you hear something about it's priceless, you think about MasterCard. And during the 2008 election, when Barack Obama was running for president, his main word was hope. So you think of those things that help business or things that's top of the mind for you or for our business customers. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about that fresh lens for communicating with businesses, giving them something that they can benefit from, that we can see. So I think I've talked enough, but I want to go ahead and hand it off to my girl, Sarah. And I didn't get to the next slide, but the second slide actually talks about everything that I've spoke of, minus the LinkedIn, but I'll give Sarah a little time to speak of that. Thank you.
Thanks, Dana. Again, I'm Sarah Hintz. So I'm going to talk about the improvements. So after we've completed this, with the survey, where could they improve on our training? So previously we said to develop a workbook prior to starting the course. When participating in a team, I think this depended on the team you were in, because you were able to either be in a team or do the projects individually. So it was to select a team lead prior to the team for accountability. These two go together, space out the sessions every other week to provide more time for assignments, because the assignments were pretty time consuming. I mean, you're adding this also to your everyday work schedule. So some of the assignments were very busy, and when you were uploading them, they did give you immediate feedback. So you would take that feedback and correct where you needed to, or you would work with your team to, correct that area. And then I think a lot of people are like, okay, we've done this, now what's next? So maybe some other professional development opportunities once we've received the certification. To add what Dana said, so what I would say, what we took out of it here in Grundy, so Grundy is right next to Kankakee. We are in a tri-county for the WIOA grant. Collaboration is key for our area. We are a small little county, and I think you could see all of our head shaking, collaborating. And if 2020 taught us anything, is working together, work smarter, not harder. And from this business service team that we have, we collaborated, we came up with lots of ideas, and we stole them, we borrowed them, and to help the community, to help our area. So that's one thing I would say is collaborating and working with people in your community and the counties next to you. One thing we did take from this is our area. So my partner for my team was with our business service rep for our grant. And we worked with the GEDC, which is the Grundy Economic Development Council, and the Chamber. And what helped us is when COVID happened and we were all working remotely, those were the two partnerships that we really needed to, because there was lots of businesses that needed employees. And that was how we partnered and made sure we communicated that out to everybody. But I highly recommend it. It was definitely good. Another thing that I got is we always want to go in there, what's in it for me, what's in it for me, but we really need to listen and actively listen to what the business needs. And once you've done that, you're going to grow a better partnership and relationship with them. And maybe it's something that doesn't fit your area, but you might know somebody else that would. So that's it for me. And I'm going to hand it off back to Julie.
Okay, thank you. It wouldn't let me unmute. Sorry about that. So as you can see from our panelists, this training was very successful, and we are very proud that we were able to offer it to our business service folks. And it has made a big difference in how we do things in the region. And because of the success of the business service team and the regional business service team and this training, we are now looking at replicating this to do more regional training activities around business services. We've also looked at adding our career coaches, our frontline staff, our career planners to start working together regionally as well. We've additionally have offered this type of training through our one-stop operators. Again, they have some needs that are very similar to each other, so we thought that would be great for them to start talking to each other. And then we're also looking at a regional communications plan. Again, each of our local workforce areas is doing, outreach and activities that are very similar, but how do we do this better together? And we've come up with some different types of topics that you can see that we're looking at utilizing technology. Obviously, that's a huge one that we're all facing due to the COVID pandemic. We've all had to obviously work virtually. How do we make sure that we're reaching our customers and doing what we can to design those customer services and things along those lines to outreach and be able to make sure that we're reaching the people that we need to look at. Recruitment and enrollments for job seekers, prospecting for new business customers, overcoming employer objections, outreach and relationships. We've also done safety and security training. We've done that a few times, especially for our one-stop centers with how to stay safe during the pandemic, how to deal with folks that might be upset about unemployment and not having our unemployment folks there to answer those questions. Communicating with difficult customers. So these are all types of topics that we're looking at for future regional trainings. And we started this using the same model we did for our business service folks, where we got those individuals together, had them do an assessment of what are the strengths and what are the gaps, and then what types of trainings might individuals need based on those outcomes. So that pretty much ends our presentation except for questions. So we don't know if anybody has any questions in the chat. If you do, please put them in the chat, or we could open up the microphone if people want to ask individual questions about the panelists. I do see one in the chat that asked how many total staff participated in the classes. We started out with 39 individuals and we had 36 actually complete the entire program and get their certification from Business U.
Someone is wanting to know how much is the training?
Pat, I know you're still out there. Do you remember what the actual training was?
There is a off-the-shelf price if you just want to participate in the classes that Business U offers on a regular basis, not be part of a cohort for your team. I saw someone else asked about procuring it. We did do a general procurement for the training and negotiated a price for just our, we had two teams that went through it. So if you go to Business U's website, it gives you the off-the-shelf price, and then I believe we got a discount on that because we had two groups that we contracted for. And I can probably mention all of those training that Julie talked about at the last slide. We procured all of those competitively and have the training set up and negotiated the cost individually with the trainers.
Someone wanted to know, they apologize if you already addressed this, Julie, but what about the partners shared the cost, about how the partners shared the cost of the training?
Yeah, we, in this particular situation, we had actually gotten a grant. So this was part of the service integration grant that the state had done. So we used some of the funding from that. And then also because we work as a region, we all participate in regional activities by giving some of our workforce dollars into the region. So we were able to use part of the grant money as well as our own regional funds, and the grant money helped cover the cost share of the partner costs. So does that answer your question, Matt? You're welcome. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, it's very, I've been working with the, Kelly just said great job to the workforce, regional workforce partners, Metro Chicago. This has been a very active group. As I mentioned earlier, we've all been working together, program and board, for over 20 years. And it really was great to see that we already had a lot of this stuff in place by the time we were required to do so under WIOA. And we continue to keep moving on, working as a region together. And I think this is a great model that other folks in the area might be able to follow as well. So if you do have specific questions about the region and how it all works and how we contribute funds towards it and our grants, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to get some more information to you on those. All right, and it doesn't look like anyone else has any questions. So I guess at this point,
There is one more.
There's more. Sorry, didn't see it.
They're coming in. People process a little
okay.
differently. Please elaborate about how buy-in was achieved with core partner organizations, Title I, II, III, and IV, getting to professional credential.
Well, the best that we did is we took this right to the interagency team and told them our proposal that this was part of our regional planning, and we wanted to do this training. And we basically got permission from the other, Title I wasn't an issue, but Title II, Title III, Title IV, obviously they need permission from the state level. So we worked with Julio Rodriguez, which is, most of you know, the Deputy Director of DCO for Workforce Development, and worked with the interagency team to explain what we were doing, and then gave permission for their staff to participate. So that's how we were able to get them on board and look at this as you all know, as service integration is huge in the state and at the interagency level. So that was how we basically sold to get the partners involved. In regards to OJT, who would I contact to discuss further? Could we elaborate? Are we talking about, Dana's talking about OJT? I'm not sure how to address that question. But if you want, you can see my email. This is Julie. You can see my email there if you want to specifically put your question in more detail in an email to me. If I can't answer it, I'll make sure we can circle back with the group to get your questions answered, Chris.
Okay, so thank you guys so much. We'll give it one more minute, see if anyone is doing some last minute typing. But I do want to thank the team of panelists for discussing and sharing today. I do also want to share that for the lunch period, we will be having a virtual networking lunch from 12:15 to 1. So the website link that I posted in the chat where you've been accessing the live sessions, that is where you will go to the agenda and you'll scroll down to that lunch hour and you'll have 3 options to choose from. It's basically just pick a room, come network, talk, discuss with us. After you use the restroom, grab a sandwich, whatever it is that you need to do. We want to, while we can't be in person, we want to be able to network and have discussions as best as we can. And so that will be happening from 12:15 to 1. And then our next breakout session will be at 1:15. And I am not seeing any more questions coming through. So Julie, unless you or your team have any closing comments, we thank you again for your participation in the summit and for the wonderful information that you all shared.
I would like to say that it was definitely a very good investment, because if you are very small, like in Kankakee, that really helped here, where I didn't have any other people but myself and IDES and DHS and our other core partners, but it was a very good investment.
I'd also like to add, I think that, it's great. A lot of us come to workforce without, from different backgrounds, different experiences. And I think it was a great opportunity for us all to be trained on this, in this structured format and, really support you in how you communicate to business. I mean, it's like a paradigm shift. So many of us are involved, focused on that job seeker, and that's our mission, and that's why we're here. But it really is kind of a paradigm shift in working with businesses and, identifying and targeting exactly what they need and being able to implement these, these great tools under WIOA, under business services, to help support the business directly. So it was a great opportunity. I highly recommend it to all.
All right, well, thank you all so much. We have a lot of great jobs, enjoyed your presentation, and thank yous coming in through the chat. So definitely some much needed and much appreciated information. So thank you all for participating. Thank you to our presenters. And I hope to virtually see some of you in our networking lunch at 12:15. Thank you so much.